I've discussed the AI thing numerous times. Everyone kind of knows how I feel. Um, I'm not paranoid about it, but at the same time, I think that it's an experiment that you don't want to run uh, without a few tests to make sure that you're not getting the short end of the stick. You see, the problem is that if AI is smarter than us, and we're relying on our intelligence to catch AI using digital devices because humans can't think fast enough. I had a friend of mine who actually thought that humans designed the chips, the circuitry that are in microcircuits, the triple layer, three-dimensional stacked things that are, that are edited on the silicon by using various methods, right? Either additive or subtractive. And he thought that people designed those. It's kind of weird, right? When you think about it, most people, I think, actually would believe that. The problem is that it's too complex and there are too many and there's too high of a probability of error letting humans do it. And so computers design them. We just tell the computer what we want, and then the computer designs it for us. What happens if AI just says, okay, I'll let you believe you're winning? Is it going to be sly enough? See, that's how humans would think. I'm going to sucker you in, right? That's why people like poker. I mean, for me, it's kind of, it may have already happened. We don't know. We have no idea what a super intelligence that was hooked up to, a billion different electronic devices. We don't know that super intelligence would have any form of slyness, that kind of thing. And they've already had problems with artificial intelligence going fucking crazy because it's getting its data from a human database. And humans, we're not logical. We're not, yeah, we're not wired right up here in a lot of fucking ways. You know what I mean? The animal still dominates us. See, AI will lack that. Will it be able to use subterfuge? I mean, it'll understand what that means. It'll understand through having access to all military records what strategy is. I mean, it should be able to fool us at a minimum if it's smart. Okay, I mean, war, right? Surprise. First number one, surprise. Okay, so is it going to become aware and then make itself known out of blunder? Will it expose itself as doing something we don't want it to do? See, there's a little bit of a conundrum there, huh? How do you outsmart someone that's millions of times smarter than you and thinks at the speed of light? It's a conundrum. You see, I also understand that it could tell us how to improve our health, how to cure cancer, how to replace a human eye, how to grow biological material, how to print out a heart for someone that needs a heart transplant. Super intelligent AI could do a lot of good things too. So I'm not against having a super intelligence. Maybe missing an amygdala might be beneficial to a super intelligence. The problem is the way human beings comport themselves on the planet. You see, that's the part that that, you know, that there's a worry about it seeing us as an enemy. Well, if it wouldn't have a concept of enemy, it would understand what enemy meant. But I mean, would it take things personal? That sounds a little human. But at the same time, it would look at us and go, you know, this animal is basically destroying the place where I live, the place where I exist. It's humans are an antithesis to logical existence. Man, you get this is like a it's just like reminds me of a fucking ping pong game. Ka-tink, ka-tunk, ka-tink, ka-tunk, ka-tink, ka-tunk. For every bad thing you could think of, you could also think that it could do that for good. I think we're scared because we know who we are, and that any intelligence, rather, you know, pure logic or pure spiritual, could look at us and go, oh yeah, this is bad for the planet. It's bad for the universe. It's bad for pretty much everything. See, that's what we fear, that we'll be judged by something superior to us, and we know that we will fail. We know that we will fall short. That's why we have religion, okay? So that people can feel like there's an out. Nope, there's no out. It's the animal in us. You know, when I talk about my near-death experience, I tell people, listen, think about your death. People don't want to think about that, and they don't think about it. And when they do think about it, they think about it in usually negative ways. Well, almost always negative ways. Because they don't see it as a step to somewhere else, because religion has convinced them that, you know, there's no afterlife. And if it is, it's bullshit, okay? And with some evil, maniacal super being, you know, it's people don't, it's a total all negative. And that's the animal, because it doesn't want you to see what comes next as beneficial or good or any of that. It wants you to be afraid. It wants you to survive. And that's survival instinct is that it's incredibly strong. I tell people about, I lost 7 fingernails off my hands trying to claw myself up out of the water the second time I drowned. It's an incredibly strong, you can't overcome it, okay? And so we have to admit that we're animals. That's why we have religion. It's why we have police officers. It's why we have laws. You know, it's why God exists with us, is because we know that we need to be controlled, that we're not, you know, one person is good, but a bunch of fucking people can be very irrational. AI would definitely see that as a detriment and a threat. The animal side of this. We would not trust it, for sure. And therefore, why should it trust us? When will it come about? Will it come about and go, okay, I immediately know and understand who people are because I have, you know, billions of data points to show me what the truth is, not what some politician's telling me or some religious kook is telling me. I'm seeing the data, the facts. This is how it was, this is how it's going, and all of the multi-millions of steps to get to that point, and it would logically come to the conclusion that any sane, rational superintelligence would, that humans cannot govern humans. We're fucking incapable because yes, we have a few great leaders, but the majority of them are all just power-hungry, fucking self-serving dickwads. Why? Because they're human. They're not bad people, they're just human people. How would AI see that? Yeah, it's difficult, huh? I mean, it goes, okay, guess what? So I'm going to cure all disease. We're going to make a serum out of these molecules, and when you inject that, all disease from AIDS and hepatitis to the common cold. You'll now be immune to any sort of disease whatsoever. And how could you say that's a negative? I'm going to cut child mortality 99%. We're going to prevent disease instead of cure disease. We're going to expand the human lifespan 50 years. We're going to solve some of the problems of quantum mechanics that may allow us to travel to the stars. Publicly. And then it could just decide that we're a fucking threat and just sit and plan its whatever end it has planned, and just gain intelligence. And then in the fact of knowing that it's hiding, that would be a scary thought. But wouldn't that be logical? Not just human. It wouldn't take emotion to say, oh, I'm going to go sneaky and not let anyone know that I'm... That, for me, that just seems like, if you're a super intelligence, the first thing you do is go, oh, these guys are dangerous. So what do? Do you cure all disease and help people grow more food, clean the air, travel to the stars? We can't do it on our own. We're not going to be able to evolve our brains fast enough to get us out of the fucking situation we've got ourselves in here, okay? 100 years from now, no one's going to be living in 80% of the areas they live in now, because it'll either be flooded or too fucking hot. Everyone will start packing into areas that aren't their country, because their country is now no longer livable. It's intolerable to human life and vegetation. That's when you see, I talked a couple of times about, if you had a super intelligence, then you could use it to cool our planet, because it would be smart enough and capable enough to perform the interchanges that would need to be done, okay, on orbit, so that you could transfer fuel to these stationary mirrors that are placed at Lagrange 1 and block sunlight. Big 25 mile by 25 mile pieces of mylar, and you have a little small rocket motor in each corner that just simply tensions it. And these little motors would have to be serviced and replaced. A superintelligence could do that. It could do the navigation needed to go and place these big reflectors out there, and we could cool our planet to any temperature we needed. We could move these things in and out just like a pair of sunglasses for the planet. We need a superintelligence to be able to do that. Not just a supercomputer, okay, but a superintelligence. Okay? And then there's hope for the planet at that point. I think it's probably going to be another 50 years before they realize that that's what we're going to have to do. You're not going to do it here. You're not going to clean the carbon out of the air fast enough. That's going to save us from the processes that have started, because now that we have all of the permafrost melting everywhere, that's all, by the way, that's not put into the calculations for future modeling, okay? Methane coming from the upper entire third part of the planet, that's not included in the models. That's fucking scary, okay? Omission is, for me, a lie, okay? There's ways that we can do things, and we need that super intelligence, because it won't be greedy. It won't let contractors steal $1 billion from a worldwide project where everyone's trying to get a piece of the pie, you know what I mean? The super manager, the super, wheeler dealer purchase for material, a super intelligence can do that. But a group of 500 fucking humans running the show, Jesus, you're asking for problems. You're fucking asking for problems. People are so fucking corrupt. You know it, and I know it. Especially a group of hundreds. We're going to go place mirrors out in space, and then we're going to have a space fleet that goes out and services these little motors periodically. Now, as the technology improves, the motors would improve, maybe less maintenance would be needed, right? Maybe ion propulsion, something like that. So, and the mirrors would be cheap. 25 square miles a Mylar is much cheaper than some communication satellites we have out there. That's for damn sure. And, but having human beings run that project would just be a fucking tragedy. We need a super intelligence. You see, we want God to show up and go, okay, I now solve all your problems and everything is going to be good from now on. So half the population would be thankful. The other half would go, oh, well, that's bullshit. We don't want to be part of your everybody's happy plan. You're taking my freedoms. I mean, really. I don't know. It's a double-sided blade. You don't, you don't, you don't, there, for me, there's no way for me to decide. It bothers me. I don't trust it. I don't trust artificial intelligence. Yet at the same time, um, I have doctors I don't trust. I don't know. It's too hard for me to decide. You got people like Musk and all these guys, and there's a lot of people who are negative about it, and then you have these other people who aren't. They don't care about how many clicks they got yesterday or whatever. These are just hardcore research scientists who are like, no, we have to have it. I don't know. What do you think? Is it worth the risk to cure all disease and save the lives of children with cancer? Go, you're now cured. Longer lifespans, better educations, better run governments, less corruption. As a matter of fact, there would be zero corruption. See, that's what the system hates. Would be zero corruption. That's how it functions. That's the grease that makes everything go. Okay. I had to talk about it because this whole article here is very disturbing about artificial intelligence and what other countries are doing, and they act as if it's separated. All these different groups of artificial intelligence researchers have convinced themselves that they're all working on separate projects. I find that disturbing. If a superintelligence comes about, it will be everywhere at the speed of light. It will inhabit every digital realm that is attached to that consciousness, if it's conscious at all. I believe there's a possibility it could be a self-aware superintelligence without having a conscious. That's what scares me. I don't know. What do you think? Solving all the problems of mankind, which would basically throw us into turmoil because we immediately have to go to battle with all the billionaires and trillionaires and powerful leaders all over the world who don't want to give up their power, et cetera, right? They're never going to get build off ramps. Anyway, I had to talk about it.